What's up, smart homers? My name's Aaron, and in this video I want to show you the SwitchBot K10 Plus, the first robotic vacuum from SwitchBot. While this device is tiny, it has surprising endurance, which I'll go over in detail. I'll unbox it, set it up, test it out, and then I'll go over the integration possibilities. You're going to want to stick around to the end because there are some issues I found with this device, but also some pretty cool features. Full disclosure, as always, SwitchBot did send me this device to test out early, but they didn't tell me anything I should say about it, and it's going to be an honest review. Just so you understand my background with robotic vacuums, I've only had one, and it's my current vacuum, which is the iRobot Roomba 675. That device has almost none of the standard features that most robotic vacuums do, so the SwitchBot K10 Plus is going to be an upgrade no matter what. So let's take a look at the SwitchBot K10 Plus. Out of the box, you get an instruction manual and quick start guide, the vacuum itself, 2 edge brushes, and the docking station. Inside the docking station, you have a 4-liter dust bag, a plastic bag with a spare dust bag and a pack of mopping pads, and a replacement air bin filter for the vacuum. There's also a little cleaning brush with a letter opener style hook to help remove hair and debris from the roller. On the underside of the lid, you have the mopping plate, which is used on the underside of the vacuum when mopping. Of course, I'll be showing that later. Down by the bottom of the base station, you have 2 metal contacts that charge the vacuum, and you have a rubber gasketed opening that seals up against the vacuum when emptying it. The vacuum itself has a really nice high quality feel to it. You can see the LiDAR laser unit on the top with the SwitchBot logo engraved on it. On the front you have the navigation bumper with some slots in it, which I think are for some IR sensors to sense the docking station. On the back you have the dustbin and some metal contacts for charging at the docking station. You can see the flap on the dustbin that opens when the base station sucks the dust out of the bin. On the bottom, you have 2 independently driven rubber wheels, a caster wheel at the front, and the multi-surface brush roller on the back. You can also see the end of the shaft for the edge sweeping brush that clips on there. On the sides, you have the ventilation holes that allow air intake when the base station empties the dustbin. To get this thing set up, we need to remove the plastic film from the base station and also remove the foam spacers from the bumper. Next, plug in the base station and you'll see its indicator light bar turn orange. After that, we're going to install the edge brush on the bottom, pushing it onto the shaft until it clicks into place. This can be removed later when you need to replace it or when hair gets built up on it, but it does have an upward facing brush that should prevent hair buildup. We'll test that. Next, we remove the lid of the vacuum, which is just held there magnetically, and that reveals the dustbin handle, which is removable so that it can be washed periodically. And it also reveals the on-off switch for the device, which we're going to turn on, and then we'll replace the lid. Now when we slide the vacuum up against the docking station, we're going to see that light bar blink. At this point, you just walk through the setup steps in the app, which are pretty straightforward, so I'm not going to bore you with them here. Once set up, you can choose a name for your device, and I've named mine Karen for no particular reason. You can designate it to be in a room in the app, and then you're pretty much good to go. The first thing you're going to want to do is map out your house. So I put Karen on the base station in our living room and told her to go map out the house. One thing you have to make sure of is that you remove seriously everything that's on the floor for the initial map. I started off the map and then partway through Karen got stuck on a cord that I left there and it messed up the mapping. She actually started remapping the living room but doubling the size for some weird reason, and I had to restart the map. On the second try, she started mapping out the house and everything was going great, but then she went under one of our couches and the droopy cambric material that's underneath the couch drooped down and blocked the laser, and she had an error and I had to start again. I stapled up the cambric material, and this time Karen didn't even go under the couch at all, but instead the worst happened. She was mapping out the entire living room and she got over to the stairs area. Now, my old Roomba is smart enough not to fall down the stairs, so I thought the cliff sensors on the K10 Plus should be fine. No need to block off the stairs. Karen approached the stairs carefully. She drove just over the edge of the first step, and then she jumped. Okay. On my final attempt, I blocked the first step until Karen had moved on, mapping the rest of the house. Once the mapping was complete, I immediately added a no-go zone on the stairs so that she doesn't try jumping again. The mapping is super cool because you can split up the map into separate rooms, name the rooms, set boundaries, and no-go zones there as well. I won't go through all of the features of the app, but one thing that my wife said she really liked about this one was that it lets you know when you need to change out the various accessories like the side brush, roll, filter, and even when to empty the dust bag. It also tells you when to wipe the sensors, which maybe I should have done before I started mapping out the house. Another thing I like, which is just kind of fun to play with, is the remote control mode, which allows you to drive the thing around with your phone. Okay, so before I talk about my testing so far, I want to talk about compatibility with different smart home platforms. This is actually the most disappointing thing about the K10 Plus, but there is hope for the future. As far as I know, this robot is only compatible with Google and Amazon Assistants, Siri shortcuts, and IFTTT. Currently, there is no HomeKit support, no SmartThings support, no Home Assistant support, and of course, no Habitat support. Actually, in SmartThings, since I have SwitchBot integrated with SmartThings, Karen did show up, but she showed up as a switch, which you can't really do much with that, so it seems like that integration still is not functional. I'm really hoping that HomeKit or Matter support at least are added in the future, because that should allow this device to be compatible with Home Assistant. Hopefully this will be changed with future firmware updates. Okay, so now let me just note some things that I found when testing this device. Like I said before, every time I run this vacuum, it doesn't clean under the couch. I'll have to see what else I can do to pull that cambric material up a little higher maybe, and maybe that'll fix it. The robot does run fine on carpet, and even the shag rug in my daughter's room was no problem. Occasionally it almost gets stuck on transition strips, but always seems to get free and then gets its position back and continues cleaning. Generally, the vacuuming seemed to work pretty well with that edge brush throwing the debris into the path of the roller that's at the back of the device. It did pick up a bit of hair, with this shot being only after about a day of cleaning. This is from cleaning a house that has 4 long-haired individuals living here. The roller also picked up quite a bit of hair, but the letter opener tool is super handy for removing that. Mopping was honestly not that great and felt more like a gimmick than an actual integrated feature. If you're expecting a full-on mopping like with a Robot Vac, that's not what you're going to get. And it's actually more like Swiffer mopping with mop pads. To set up for mopping, you take the mopping pad plate from under the lid of the base station and install one of the mop claws that they provided. You can get similar claws at your local Walmart, so no need to worry about expensive replacements. You hook the 2 holes with the plate's hooks, wrap the cloth around the other side of the plate, and press the corners of the cloth against the Velcro-like patches on the plate. Then you clip the plate onto the vacuum over the roller and place it at the docking station. You can see a wet trail behind the mop as it mops, but after running it, I noticed a little sticky patch of something that had been on the floor for a day or two, and it didn't remove that. I was a little bit disappointed, but my wife told me that with the Swiffer, it usually acts similarly. One thing I really love about this vacuum is how quiet it is. It's significantly quieter than my old Roomba, which is super nice, with the only loud noise being when it goes to the dock and gets emptied by the base station.
Starting to empty dust.
We also noticed that sometimes it docks, starts to empty, and then stops right away, comes off of the base station, repositions itself, docks again, and then continues emptying, as if it didn't get a good seal the first time it docked. The dustbin is pretty decent, so it doesn't auto-empty every day. And the 4-liter dust bag in the base station is supposed to last 70 days, which is crazy. Overall, I think the vacuum works really well as a vacuum. It's small size, allowing it to get into corners where larger vacuums wouldn't be able to. But like I said before, I think the mopping feature is more of a gimmick and less of an actual feature. Besides Karen trying to take the easy way out and it not being compatible with over half of the big 6 smart home platforms, I still think it's a pretty solid vac for the price. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope it gives you a good idea of how the SwitchBot K10 Plus works, and I hope it gives you a little insight on how I'll test future robotic vacuums when I get my hands on them. I'm going to be doing more videos like this, as well as WLED and Home Assistant videos, so if you're interested, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified when my next one comes out. As always, I got a link to this product in the description below, and if you buy this product using my link, I get a small commission at no cost to you, and it really helps out the channel. Anyway, thanks for watching. See ya.